Hello and welcome back to DevOps Fundamentals by SkillSpeed. In this video, we are going to talk specifically about Git and why we should use Git. So in the previous videos, we spoke about version control systems in general, and then in the next video, we spoke about centralized versus distributed version control systems. Now, as we have seen that Git is the most popular distributed version control system out there. Of course, there's a reason to it, right? It actually offers flexibility and performance without compromising on security. It was designed and developed by Linus Torvalds, who is the same person who has given us Linux. It was developed in 2005, and since then it has become the most widely adopted version control system for software development. Now, why Git? We have already spoken about the advantages of a distributed version control system, and each and every point is applicable to Git, since it follows a distributed model where each developer gets their own local copy, as compared to centralized model where each developer gets only the working copy, so temporary copy. So each one has a permanent copy, which is more like a backup in case of Git. And the second point is that having their own repository enables developers access to full history of commits. So they don't need to get connected to the the central server or the remote server all the time. They can work locally, and they need to connect to the main server or the remote server only when they want to push and pull from there, which is a huge advantage over centralized version control systems. Now, distributed model leads to more reliable environment, and the most important benefit which you get is, since each working copy is a full repository, if you see on a screen, so we have 3 workstations or PCs, and each one has got exactly the same information. And if something goes wrong, let's say on PC2. So PC2 has an option of cloning from the main repository, which is right there at the top, or it can simply clone from PC1 or PC3, because all of them are essentially the same copy of the actual software code. This is one of the biggest advantages of working with Git. Now, these are some of the benefits which we spoke about in the last video. Advantages of distributed version control systems over centralized version control systems, and each and every point is applicable to Git as well. It has the capability to every working copy is full. It's a complete repository with full history and full revision tracking. You're not dependent on a central server, so you don't have to be online. It is extremely fast, of course, from compared to any other centralized version control system. Commits are local to you unless you make them public with the help of a git push command. And of course, since you're working locally, you don't need to be online. Whenever you have the internet connection, whenever you are connected to the internet, you have the liberty to push your changes to the remote repository as and when needed, and as and when you want them to push and pull. So branching capabilities. So in Git, creating and working with branches is extremely easy, and at the same time, merging and working with multiple branches is again extremely easy compared to any other tool. And that is the reason Git is extremely popular, because branches gives you this ability to work with work in an isolated environment, and then when the job is done, you can simply merge the feature branches or bug fix branches into the main master branch, and you are good to go. So all these things Git does extremely nice and easy manner, and it enables the use of feature branches, wherein you have this option of isolated environment, and you provide for each of the change in code base. So what happens is you have multiple branches at the same time. You can have 5, 10, 20, 30 branches. There is no such limit in Git that you can have only so many branches, and you can divide the work among various development teams in your project, and then as and when they complete their work, you can pull the changes, you can merge the changes to the main branch, and then you can delete the branches which are no longer required. All these things are extremely easy in Git, and that is one of the one of the biggest advantages of Git. Once again, updated community. So basically, Git is an open source tool, so you are getting, every now and then you get some new tools and new functionalities added to Git, and that is the reason it becomes extremely beneficial to learn such tool which is always up to date in the market, right? And if you train yourself to work on Git, it's not going to go waste. I always give this example that there is only two categories of people in this world. One category is the one where who are working currently on Git, and the second category is people who are trying to move to Git. There is no third category. So it should pay off, and it will definitely pay off if you learn Git. So to summarize the advantages of Git: speed, very simple and robust design, strong support for thousands of parallel branches. Now, one important thing I forgot to mention is that Git was initially developed to, as you know, it was developed by Linus Torvald, and the main reason he developed was to maintain the Linux kernel project on Git. Now, Linux kernel is one of the biggest and most complex projects on earth at the moment when you talk about softwares. So it has already been tested to the extreme, and it has been proven one of the best tools out there when it comes to version control system, and that is the reason you can be rest assured if you're using Git. Fully distributed, so full local repositories, you have offline commits, and full size repositories, completely independent repositories you are getting. And yes, as we've spoken, able to handle large projects like Linux kernel efficiently. It has already been tested. That's the important part. And of course, ensures integrity. So all your data is intact. Having corrupt data or missing data is no longer the thing if you're using Git. So that's it for this video. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next one.